with a strong impact not only in Europe but also around the world. And this is my great pleasure to introduce this during this small opening, because we'll get another opening tomorrow morning. Unfortunately, some of our colleagues were not able to reach completely Eforie due to some flight delays due to the stormy weather, but tomorrow morning everybody will be here. But so far we are very happy of having the chance to be able to put together for the 8th time and to continue our important international School of Neurology with our summer program. So without saying too much, I would just like to mention that we are doing this important program in a very organized way and endorsed by many societies, by many universities, and this is my great pleasure to be together with Professor Sharma, who is the founder of this international school, together with me and Nathan. And as you know, Hari, we did this intensive work together, and along the way some other important collaborators, friends and personality join us, and that's why we have here also for this opening Professor Raul Arizaga from Argentina, who is a leading personality in the field of dementia. He is the chairman of the panel of scientists in the World Federation regarding dementia. And I will simply try to open this special module of education, and this is about advances in brain protection and recovery. Unfortunately, our dear friend Rudy Castellani couldn't make it to Cluj because her mother got a stroke just a couple of days ago, and he's sending his excuses, and we have understood that. So for this special session, Advances in Brain Protection and Recovery, this is my great pleasure and honor to invite Professor Sharma, who is not only the founder of this important scientific program with us, but it's also, I would say, the top collaborator and also very good friend doing research and doing a lot of academic things, research, educational aspects, and also, let's say, organizing many meetings around the world together. To tell you about some important experiences coming out of his research in Alzheimer's disease, in some interesting new directions and new approaches. So dear Harry, please, the floor is yours.
Dear friends, I am very pleased to be here, and especially for kind words from Dafin. And actually, I am not that great or big as he suggested. We are simply working to find some new aspects of neuroscience, and since Alzheimer's disease is also one of them, so we try to do some experiments in this aspect. And since I devoted my lots of time since 1977 on blood-brain barrier, I always look at this disease from that perspective only. So pardon me if I am quite away from the conventional wisdom or entirely other things. I mean, I have seen it from my own way, and I will share this experience with you today. Since we are working with different organizations, for example, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, US military, and also National Center of Toxicological Research, European Office of Aerospace Research and Development, and all different other organizations, Case Western, University of Arkansas, Swedish Strategic Forskning, Swedish Strategic Research, Government of Sweden. So I have to tell this, that all the views that are expressed here are only mine, and it has nothing to do with Swedish government, US Air Force Research Laboratory, or any military organizations with which we are working. As you all know in this field that the 1902, this is the first patient of Alzheimer's disease. She was diagnosed, and this led to development of this disease. Since I'm a neuropathologist by training, I work with Professor Inge Olsen, and he is one of the leading neuropathologists in the world. So I see the brain from a pathological point of view. And that's why my research is involved in this area only. I have the honor to work with another great neuropathologist. He is Professor Sharma. He is still living in Spain, in Barcelona. At that time, he was director of Neuropathology Institute in Free University of Berlin, and almost contemporary of Kurt Zellinger, that some of you know. He is the founding editor of Acta Neuropathologica journal. So that is the background. And I always believe that all our diseases are centered around blood-brain barrier, because this is the specialty of the brain. And whenever it is either broken, it's a harsh word, or altered, probably our normal brain functioning are also altered. So this is the volume we have created in last year. Then we discuss some new aspects of neuroprotection. There are few key workers in the field of Alzheimer's disease. They have interest in brain pathology. And I'm sure you might be very well aware about Berislav Žlković. Initially he worked in University College of London together with Bradbury and Hugh Debson. They are the classical persons in pathophysiology of blood-brain barrier and CSF injuries. And I just summarized some of his recent views, because we had a conflict, I think 20 years ago. He feels that blood-brain barrier was not important in Alzheimer's disease, but now he's changed his ideas, and as you can see that he is focusing largely now neurovascular pathways to neurodegeneration in Alzheimer's disease and others. I mean, you can go and search the literature. I have not very much time. And this is a basic picture for the students, because here we are rather talking to students, not to great scientists here. So therefore, I show this picture has been seen by many people before. So this is the normal human brain, and after Alzheimer's disease, this looks like this way. So it's really shrinkage or whatever is brain damage. So this is a real pathological picture of human brain. And especially to students, you must consider that this is very serious disease, and still we do not have any cure. I do not claim that I'm showing some examples that can lead to any cure in another 10 years, but our work as a research is always trying to find out new things. Whether it is right or wrong, only time will tell. So when we make histological sections, this is not my picture, this is taken from standard pathological books, and you can see that the plaques that are characterized by Alzheimer's disease could be seen, and this was a study using silver impregnation method. This is another example. This is from paper Journal of Neuroscience in 2001. You can see that deposition of amyloid and damage to the one neuron. So the Alzheimer's disease is very serious and produces not only neuronal damage, also glial involvement, and of course the brain is protected by the endothelial cells of cerebral capillaries that can shoot the blood-brain barrier. So we believe naturally, and we have the evidence, that also the blood-brain barrier cannot be, it is not that it is not involved, it should be involved in some way. These are the cartoons also taken from classical books and telling that changes in tau protein lead to the disintegration of microtubules in the brain cells. So there are so many proteins are involved. This is just an example. This is one cartoon showing that how amyloid beta can be deposited. This is this cell interior, they are here, this is one, then this is the second stage, and then it got deposited in the brain, beta amyloid play. That could be the classical basis of Alzheimer's disease. However, this is very controversial, and some people believe that it has nothing to do with Alzheimer, and also some of my friends telling that this could be only circumstantial evidence, may not be causative evidence. As a pathologist, I can share some data that is published long ago, and we need to revisit this. There are 300 cases of cerebrovascular lesion in Alzheimer's disease. Degeneration was in all 100%. Extravasation of serum protein was more than 80%. And this is one of the important evidence that there is a leakage of blood-brain barrier in Alzheimer's disease. Sad to say that people forget this basic investigation and try to go around in different ways. Cerebral amyloid angiopathy, more than 90%. Intracerebral hemorrhage, more than 10%. Hemorrhage is also, it is coming when the blood vessel is damaged. And then cerebral cortical infarcts, less than 30%. So what is important, that leakage of serum proteins is more than 80%. One should not ignore this. Other evidence I am pointing, search from literature, and Dr. Kalaria in London, he is also one of the leading pathologists in the world describing Alzheimer's disease. People have, not so much quoting him, but he is still a very prominent person. And you can see here that blood-brain barrier-related enzymes are altered. These two are decreased. There is no change in some of the enzymes. In many cases, there is a loss, and in some cases, this is increased. So this will tell you that the blood-brain barrier regulating enzymes are altered. Whether decreased or increased, that doesn't matter, but they are altered. And this is very important. I will show you some of the endothelial cells and related structures that are damaged in Alzheimer's disease, and vascular smooth muscle cell degeneration. You can read these literature, 1993 and 1998. Focal constriction of blood vessels, 1997. Cerebral endothelium necrosis and degeneration, 1995. Decrease in mitochondria, increase in pinocytosis, loss of tight junctions, 1996 and 1992. Here you should emphasize loss of tight junctions. Tight junctions are the fundamental basis of the blood-brain barrier, one of the fundamental anatomical structures, and this is damaged. So we would like to re-emphasize that one should not forget the role of blood-brain barrier in Alzheimer's disease, and that's why together with Dr. Morazano and some others, Rudy Castellani, and of course this was also initiated from Mark Smith, who is no more with us, but his ideas and his teaching is still with us, and we are continuing that work. One cannot ignore the blood-brain barrier. You see intracerebral capillaries deform, collapse, all these telling that microvessels are very important. Making long story short, how we can try to minimize. I cannot claim that one can cure the Alzheimer's disease or any other disease. We don't even cure traumatic brain injuries. I think we have a very top person sitting here. They have much more idea than me. They are doing clinical and basic both. But we can minimize. And in this respect, since Alzheimer's disease is a metabolic disease and it involves so many other things, progressive derangements in brain glucose utilization and insulin or insulin-like growth factors, they are quite common. So there are certain evidences now telling us that neurotrophic factors can help to minimize the Alzheimer's disease pathology. And from here, these results are 2012 and also some earlier results to 2011. There are many things you know that insulin and IGF resistance can well occur in this kind of disease. Rest you read your slides by yourself. But my point is that neurotrophic factors play a very important role. Then the question comes, there are several kinds of neurotrophic factors. Something are released from neurons, something are released from glial cells, something are from endothelial cells. Which one to take? This is one example about insulin-like growth factor. Then the second question comes. We have different kinds of drugs and delivery. Now with the advancement of nanotechnology, what we can do? Can we enhance the drug delivery? Can we enhance recovery process? Or what can we do with nanotechnology? There are two aspects of nanotechnology. One, that some of the nanoparticles have neurotoxic effects, and the other that is most pursued, that nanotechnology is used to enhance drug delivery to the brain. How? The current theory is that if any drug is given systemically with nanotechnology, it can penetrate to the brain faster, it can stay for longer time, and then the drug is not catabolized so quickly if it is not bound to nanotechnology. So these are the points, and of course, every damage to the brain can be linked to some kind of oxidative stress, and Alzheimer's disease is also a part of that strategy. So there are so many ways. Oxidative stress is not the fundamental principle of Alzheimer's disease. I think it is the principle of almost all disease. And oxidative stress can change so many things. So we make a hypothesis. Ubiquitin is one of the enzymes that is present everywhere. That's named ubiquitous. So ubiquitin, it was discovered, got Nobel Prize by Aaron Shekanover in 2004 in chemistry. So we wanted to study that if this is the result of oxidative stress. This is Aaron Shekanover. And then some of the examples you can see here, ubiquitin is overexpressed in Alzheimer's brain. So not only amyloid beta peptide, ubiquitin is also expressed. So my point is that whenever injury occurs or whenever there is a change or challenge to the nervous system, some of the basic mechanisms are quite similar. Now working with different military organizations in the United States, Europe, and now also in China, the problem was also discussed that our military is exposed to different kinds of environmental factors. Now we know that diabetes is one of the important facilitator of Alzheimer's disease. Hypertension could be also one of them. But these are endogenous factors. What about external factors? External factors, we have so many: air pollution, hyperthermia, continuous exposure to heat stress. We are not sure whether it is going to be cold stress, that we have just initiated some experiments, and I cannot tell you because these are classified experiments. This is one example where our soldiers are exposed to sand particles. This is silica dust. If people are breathing every time, it can affect our brain function. Don't you think so? These are the normal situation in any battle. Explosion, missile, gunpowder, carbon nanoparticles are in the air, people are breathing. So it can also affect the brain pathology and may make our brain more vulnerable to different kinds of disease, not only Alzheimer's. This is a file picture from US military. They are always facing dust storm, breathing and doing intelligent work, and there are lots of reports, some are classified, some are non-classified, that their cognitive and sensory functions are altered. That was the basic image when Alzheimer's was discovered. This is another example that there is a special force marine, when they land from the helicopter, this is always the situation. And the another situation is always explosion of so many particles. So my point is that we are also studying what will happen when the people are infected with these particles. Can it stimulate formation of Alzheimer's disease by oxidative stress or by combination of other diseases? I'm only igniting your mind so that you can think in this way that is not seen before. So our another work with Norman Bethune International Peace Army Hospital in Shijiazhuang, they are doing great collaboration with military organization. And this is the Elite Armed Force Gold Military Hospital in Harbin. There are only 3 great military institutions in China, and Harbin is number 1. And he is the 4-star General Kan Chen. We have discussed recently to form a collaboration on studying this aspect of Alzheimer's disease. And here in this area, I will not focus much because you have seen outside posters that cerebral lysine can do many things. Because, not only that this is cerebral lysine, because this is a mixture of beautifully composed different types of neurotrophic factors. So when insulin-like growth factor can do, when BDNF can do, why not a combination of different things? Because we want to protect neurons, that is for brain, we want to protect glial cells, and also we want to protect endothelial cells. So I think this forms a nice collaboration and the composition. And we have tested this drug in different type of animal models, and in our hands, it works very nice. So we just tried some models in Alzheimer's disease, how it can work and how it can help. This drug has very powerful effects. And I tell you for the first time that when we saw that this drug can reduce some aspects of neuropathic pain, we were not very sure, but we thought that this is a new application of this drug. And most of you might have some patents or some innovations. So when I was asked to submit some of the innovations to National Innovation Summit in the United States this year, then we thought what we can do. And then we discussed with Dr. Norizano and we said that let us see that this drug has a new application, neuropathic pain. And the result, nanowire cerebralizing delivery to neuropathic pain, to our surprise, got 20% top innovation award in this Global Innovation Summit. This is a certificate from that. We are very proud. I will give you a few examples because my time is running out. If we say that there is an evidence of blood-brain barrier disturbances in Alzheimer's disease, then we have to show it. And how? So this is an example we did with Dr. Rudy Castellani and Mark Smith. They have this Alzheimer model of knockout mice. I'm not very familiar with the model. And what we have seen, that those show leakage of albumin here. And when we have treated with cerebrolizing, after a certain period of time, of course, these are knockout mice and it is a repeated treatment. You can have the lesion here. We are able to reduce the albumin leakage in the brain. So, and then others have tested, not me, that their cognitive and sensory motor functions are better when they receive cerebrolizing. What is the basis of nanowire cerebrolizing or nanowire drug anyway to treat any disease? This is an example. This is a review published in Nature Review of Neuroscience. This is gold nanoparticles and they can interact with ubiquitin. Here you can see gold nanoparticles. They are interacting and working at the membrane level to correct some anomalies. We got this idea that if this is working through ubiquitin, maybe nanowire cerebrolizing can also work in other models. So we have used titanium nanowires. I am not going in details because I do not have time. So we use 20 to 30 nanometer titanium nanowire. These are not mine, although Dr. Pudong Yan is the father of nanowires, but he used for electronics, and he is in Berkeley. My friends are Dr. Wang Tian and Dr. Andrew Wang. They have the patent of this titanium nanowires, and University of Arkansas Fayetteville, and these are the titanium nanowires from them. We labeled cerebrolizing with the standard procedures. And since these experiments are so expensive, we need external funds in millions of dollars. And we are very happy that the sitting governor of Arkansas, for his state, Honorable Mike Beebe, he is supporting a lot to our research on nanowiring. And also this is Dr. William Slicker. You have seen he's the director of NCTR laboratory. He's also supporting us. Our Prime Minister of Sweden, Göran Persson, is deeply involved with this. So in this case, we can see that albumin leakage in mouse model. This picture is not so bright. And on some of the basis of these works, this brain edema has awarded us working on blood-brain barrier. Dr. Marmarao Award, he was a great neurosurgeon. He's died and this is the first award they have given to us. So what you can see that this amyloid beta peptide here, you can see this deposition in normal model of Alzheimer's disease, only cerebrolizing treatment, and nanowire cerebrolizing treatment. Here you can see that deposition is almost gone here. And when we talk to Anders Shelley, he's in Miami, Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine, he also thinks that we should study not only in this amyloid beta peptide, but in this case, some of the CRF that on which he got Nobel Prize, of course, in 1977, how they are modulated and they can rejuvenate the neurons. So this work is still under construction, but I can show you some example here. Cerebrolizing protects amyloid beta peptide deposition, and here is the control. Here is the mouse model, high level, and only cerebrolizing and nanowire cerebrolizing. The results are self-explanatory. Then the question comes whether it is artifact or whether it is something different. So we have to test our own hypothesis that are we wrong or right. So we have measured tau, and you can see that normal after the model, and cerebrolysine alone and nanowire cerebrolysine. These results suggest that these nanowire cerebrolysine are really working and it's not a fantasy or any kind of other things. So what we can say here, a few words. Blood-brain barrier is severely damaged in Alzheimer's disease patients, that's clear. And also one can prove it in animal model. Nanowire cerebrolysine is quite effective in reducing Alzheimer's disease pathology. But there are many things are in progress. Now we are doing infusion of amyloid beta peptide and looking in different aspects. These are under still working. And how heat, nanoparticles, diabetes, hypertension, and other comorbidity factors affect the development of Alzheimer's pathology. This is the subject of future investigation. And we have various organizations of support. There are various organizations, they are supporting all over the world. These are our collaborators. I don't want to give much more time. And thank you very much. This is a presentation from Uppsala University. I'm very grateful and look forward to having your views, particularly from the students, like some questions. I will be more honored and delighted. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Hari, for this self-explanatory and very nice presentation, particularly for highlighting this nice new invention, which was so much appreciated in the United States and awarded, and we are very proud about that. Questions, please, to Professor Sharma.
Ask any questions, students, dear students. Don't shy.
Maybe curiosities or whatever comments you have.
Good evening.
Yes.
I would like to know how
Please tell your name, introduce yourself, and
My name is Solomon Elena. I'm from Bucharest.
Okay.
I would like to know the access on the market to nanowire cells.
Okay. Well,
It is science for now.
now, nanowires can be prepared even in your own laboratory. What I said, that the patent of titanium nanowire is there for certain aspect, but it doesn't mean that in a different ways, you know, if you change any slight phenomena by making it, you can do it. So what titanium nanowire patent we have, you can modify it and you can use it. And also the silver nanowire, copper nanowire, and even silicon nanowires are in the market, and you can also prepare. So this is not restricted. We are not restricting that you should pay some money to us to start this work. There are many ways to making titanium nanowire too, and you can label the drug. Nanowire labeling of drug is only one way. You can also label your drug in many different ways, and for that, nanotechnology is open. Is that your question?
Yes. It was more interesting to know the study on this level. How big is it?
What do you mean by how big?
The results.
What kind of results? Can you express more?
Yes, what results do we have to these nanowires? Because it is something new for us.
Okay, I think for that you have to read the literature, and nanowires are used for drug delivery. Nanowires are also used for making neuronal connections. They can be implanted within the brain so that they make fine connections between neurons and can enhance the conduction, biological conduction. So you can do many things with nanowires. But we have used these nanowires to label the drug probably for the first time, because the other methods like carbon nanotubes, they inject the drug and implement them. But we have used nanowires because we know that there are different kinds of nanowires functioning. And now we are working on a nano chip that can also remotely develop the drug, but these are still under consideration and development.
Thank you.
I think I have understood exactly your question, and Professor Sharma gave you the explanation. Your question was related when we will be ready to have these nanowire, let's say, related products for clinical use, isn't it? That's it. So the idea is that we are still on the research side, and a lot of work for translational aspects should be performed